Month 8 in the eternal calendar, month 11, day 13, 2022. My attention was called to a character in front of me. It was indicated to me that it was Saul. I was commanded to pay attention to these details. So I was told, Saul, chosen by God for his people, that rebellious people who displaced the eternal to be ecumenical like the other nations, wanting a king like the others. However, he, through Samuel, received the explicit instructions of the eternal God, and Saul agreed to do everything as God said, but in his interior, he loved his position and power so much that little by little he led the people, already rebellious, to the total departure from the Eternal's mandates. Next, I was directed to pay attention to Saul's son, Jonathan. While his father Saul followed the path of the process of being totally possessed by the enemy, he continued after him, even knowing that he was wrong and did not enjoy God's favor. He strove to control the uncontrollable. He strove to enter in reason the unreasonable. He did not agree with many bad things that the king and father did, totally separated from God. Among them, persecuting David, wanting his death, taking his wife and giving her to another that he could control, killing or massacring the priests of Jehovah for helping David. In short, one atrocity after another. Jonathan, I was let know, represents all those who stay side by side of those who they see that they do not serve God, with whom they do not agree, but because of sentimentality, they continue there. This, I was told, will receive the same fate as Jonathan. Moreover, those who received persecution by this ruling king, tamed by darkness, suffered many hardships, but they remained on the right side despite the tribulation. They will receive eternal life. Today, the world is seeing, living the same story, and each one must decide and analyze which side they are or will be. No one can decide for anyone. Much was entrusted to Saul, and he cast it all away because of his prevarications. The same way for the SDA, Seventh-day Adventist Church Corporate. Same as Saul, will come its time with great gallop. Those who, despite the warnings of the Eternal, after their own reasoning and feelings, remain under this apostate government, will be cut down by Prince Emmanuel. Those who enjoy treason, who love not to lose the popular side, will receive the Eternal's reward. Depart from me, you evildoers. Those who see the faithful sentinel and with satanic anger want to silence him will be told. Those who approach with the intention of desisting the faithful sentinel will soon see how wrong they were. Those who throw the stone and hide their hand will be invested with the first plague. And those who continue to fight within Saul's army to make him enter in reason will die with him. The one who he shakes will not be past any visible weevils or invisible eggs. His detector examines each spore that is moved by the wind. He sees that the despise of his truth will continue to grow until it reaches its climax, as Saul tried with great insistence to kill David. Those who informed Saul where David was saw that as he went to encounter him, his persecution was unsuccessful. Until attacked by the Philistines, they were defeated. What a great irony! the same one that moved him to destroy, moved the Philistines by divine will to end the persecution of his servant David. Few analyze those who fight against the Most High, who rebel against the Holy One of Israel, for only being on the popular side. Certainly, this will receive their bloody reward. Others, more independent of Saul, branded him as crazy and resisted carrying out his orders. But they had something in common. They hated David for being virtuous and blessed by God. This, like Nabal, did not follow the king in his foolishness, but they lived boxed in their own foolishness. This certainly will have great fright of death in their lives because they endorse treason by convenience and they do not remember the one who did them good. Strong movements are in the ranks once again of those who claim to follow the Lamb, and many will leave never to return, for he who, having great light, rejects it will remain in darkness, but his place will not be empty, but will be occupied by those who, being in darkness, will see great light. What began in 2015 and was further accentuated in 2019 at the beginning of the tightness has taken shape on a large scale in this current year. But great will be the surprise for many of what will happen in the year that is to come. Those who do not understand will continue without understanding, and many in the time of tightness will go back. For this will be the woe and the gnashing of teeth, because they disdained the acceptable time, and their land not sown did not receive the blessing of the first rains. They did not put the good seed, and in its place only thistles will come out. Some slandered David, and others continue among the assumptions and cavils, and still others followed after the preconceptions of the first ones, and without being Bereans, they all fell into the nets of skepticism. Subterfuge followed prevarication, and both had love affairs with iniquity. Quick to grasp the bad, and late to receive the good. Now, who will help them before the Philistine destruction? Their laughter turned to tears, and their mockery to lamentation. Woe to those who call good bad and bad good. So are the people who turn away from the God of Israel. There will be a funeral song in Jerusalem, because they rejected the advice of the Eternal and turned a deaf ear to his warnings. The bad day took them by surprise, and now cries without consolation the one who lost her children in the flames, for having separated from the one who picked her up and took care of her and married her at the appointed time. Therefore, cows of Bashan, listen then to the voice of the Eternal. You fought against me, and you have not prevailed. You have led astray only those who claim to be Jews and are not. You made war against my sheep, and you made them walk in dry pastures. But I called them and gave them good water and green pastures, and I did not lose any. Now you, who thought you were a queen, loved by all, the spoils will come to you, and those who agree with you will hate you and seek your life. An eye for an eye, and skin for skin will be your reward, because by my sayings you put your lovers, and you fornicated with all of them, first secretly and then openly, and you did not put yourself to think that I rule the world and everything that exists in it, and that habitable worlds are formed at my command. There will be no greater desolation than that of the one who, seated as queen and beautiful to look at, in a moment her ruin came. But what it was, so it will be. There is no payment without a transaction. and there is no transaction without payment. Everything that man will sow, that will he reap. Is it the wheat's fault for being wheat and to give fruit if the weed is barren? At first glance, both are the same, but at harvest time the surprise is great. So it will be for the people lacking in understanding, who having eyes do not see and ears do not hear, because there is no greater foolishness than seeing the sea leaving its seat and standing in front of it, and closing the eyes and saying, by faith I believe that it will never move me. Such is human presumption, lacking of obedience and full of haughty spirit. Moreover, those who under great hardships and challenges have placed their trust in God, He will make them rest in green and tall pastures where the water they will see from far, and only will come what is just, what is necessary, what is destined by the Eternal for the final test. Therefore, let us not sleep like the others, but let us watch, let us be sober, because He who is to come will come, and He will not delay. Oh, beloved brothers, it is tremendous all this that is happening, but certainly the word of the Eternal has always arrived on time. Let's pay attention so that, like this, we can be freed. It is my request and prayer that it be so. May the Lord bless us.